And welcome into a special edition of KC Sports Night. I feel like I'm saying that a lot lately, but for me, every KC Sports Night stream is special, but especially today because you've got not one Kansas City native here. You've got two Kansas City natives looking your way. Joined now by First 1-5 meteorologist Warren Sears. You see him on the weekends, and if you don't see him on the weekends, what are you doing? Because he's holding down the fort here on the weekends for the weather department, giving Kansas City the best forecast in town. Warren, thanks for hanging out today.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here, Jared. This is something I've never done before, but we're both from here and love sports, so let's do it.
Yeah, a couple weekend warriors showing out here on a Wednesday in Kansas City. So thanks for hanging with us. This is something we've done. If you've missed some previous shows, you can watch it on YouTube, Facebook, or the podcast. I've talked with Brad Stevens, Mark Palos, Marley Campbell, kind of looking back at the last couple decades of sports in Kansas City, because I think everybody, doesn't matter how big of a sports fan you are, you all have perspective and experiences to bring to the table. And so, you know what? That's what we're going to do today, starting with, well, Chiefs training camp is going on right now, Warren, and the Chiefs are kind of the biggest deal in the world, in the sports world, and especially here in Kansas City. But it wasn't always like this. What were your memories? What are your thoughts and when you reflect on growing up as a Chiefs fan? And Warren grew up in Kansas City, went to Olathe Northwest High School, and then went to the University of Kansas. So truly, a homegrown product here. What do you remember about growing up a Chiefs fan here in Kansas City?
It's funny. The other day, my parents and I were talking about one of my first experiences with the Chiefs. We actually went to their training camp when it was up in Wisconsin, way back in the day.
Yeah, River Falls.
So I remember that. I was really young when we went up there. So that was kind of one of my first experiences. We went to Chiefs games for sure. We've never had tickets or anything, but we definitely, it was an easier ticket to get when we were growing up, Jared, because not a lot of fantastic teams. It was still fun to get out and about.
Yeah.
Tony Gonzalez, obviously, his era, Dante Hall, some good teams there. But I think when we were in the heart of, or me specifically in middle and early high school, not some of the best products out there, but it's still so fun to get out to Arrowhead. I think just the atmosphere in general is always what I loved, walking through all the barbecue and all the smoke from tailgates and, just hanging out at Arrowhead. It's just such a great memory, but nothing like the kids have it now. I mean, this is something special. So we never kept tickets or anything, but definitely would try to go to a game or two, every couple seasons. But this is fun. This is just a great time to be in Kansas City. So proud to be, in the city now and from here as well.
Well, and it's something that it didn't necessarily change overnight. It was somewhat of a progression when you think about the quarterbacks and coaches that we grew up on. Starting with Trent Green, really, that one shows our age. But Trent Green was probably the first quarterback that we really got behind. But after that, there was a lot of tough ones, whether it's Tyler Thigpen, Brody Croyle, Damon Heward, Tyler Palco, Kyle Orton, Matt Castle, Brady Quinn. We watched some bad football, and then it didn't become Super Bowl dominance overnight, but winning came overnight. What do you remember about when Andy Reid came to town? They traded for Alex Smith in the years where we were in high school and college, and the Chiefs were no longer like 2-14, 4-12. They weren't winning the Super Bowl, but they were definitely a lot more relevant before Mahomes came and changed the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's something, too, that Kansas City does well is, you put just a decent, good product out there and people really rally. This is important. It's a big sports city. And this is a pastime that, a lot of people around here love. I grew up playing football. Football culture is big here. And so I think that I noticed, especially when we just started winning a couple of games here and there, it's just people really wanted to be good again. And so that was really something that I think changed throughout the course of high school and college. All of a sudden, tickets got expensive and not as easy to go to a game, but went to a few in college. And I don't know, I think they're just the general excitement of the whole experience. And you got a product out there that people are proud of again. And it was just fun. And it wasn't just football, Jared. Like, we had a lot of other sports that all of a sudden just took off, and sporting was really good. And
decade,
absolutely. So we've been lucky, and it's fun to be a part of.
Yeah, and it's interesting that we look back on those times. I personally think about a lot of the heartbreak with those losses, But I think it's almost the winning of late has made that easier, right? I think about that Colts loss, 38-10. The Chiefs were leading in the third quarter, and they lost. And I think of Mariota catching his own pass in the playoff game. I think the Chiefs losing game where they didn't punt, Chiefs losing game where they didn't give up a touchdown, all in the playoffs. And it just felt heartbreak after heartbreak. But then Mahomes, his first year, had that heartbreak, right, when Dee Ford lined up offside against the Patriots. But after that moment, I know there's 2 years where the Chiefs didn't win the Super Bowl, Warren, but, man, there's just this feeling here in Kansas City that when you've got Mahomes, Kelsey, and Reed, things are going to work out all right. And that's been true almost every year, with the two exceptions, of course, when Patrick Mahomes lost his entire offensive line and that tanked the Super Bowl. And then the weird second half against the Bengals where the Chiefs were up 21-3 and just stopped, forgot how to play. I don't know, one of the strangest halves of football I've ever seen. With those small exceptions, Warren, the Chiefs are the Chiefs coming through year in and year out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's cool too is Kansas City has turned into a sports destination. Like you've got guys that are getting drafted and out of college, and it's not just some random flyover city now. I mean, people are excited to be in Kansas City, a part of any of the teams that we've got, and it's no longer a joke of a team.
Yeah.
And it's a respectable program. I mean, imagine getting to play for someone like Andy Reid. I mean, I played sports my whole life, and I had some phenomenal coaches. Shout out to any of them watching right now, but I mean, someone like Andy Reid, I just feel like has to be one of the coolest people to play under.
Playing under, but playing with.
Or
how
with.
about? I mean, it's. A lot of people maybe want to be the top dog on a team, be the leader of a team. Some other people want to be role players. I don't care what you grow up wanting to be. You want to play with the best of the best, and you want your team to be great and to catch passes, or not even obviously a wide receiver, but just to be on the same team as Patrick Mahomes, to be on the same team as Travis Kelce, who's right now one of the biggest global superstars in pop culture. This is a wonderful time in Kansas City. That Warren, I never, when I dreamed of what life would be like in Kansas City, what the ideal life, I wasn't thinking this big. Okay.
No, not at all. Me either. And thankfully I grew up. Sorry for all the non-KU people out there, but I grew up with some awesome teams. Some winning teams, and that was such a fun feeling. But in the heart of when some of our professional sports weren't great, KU has always put a good product out there, at least on the basketball court. But now to have those professional teams skyrocket and to have just like a whole atmosphere of good high schools, good colleges, good professional teams. And on top of that, it's a destination for athletes to want to come here, but also, I mean, Kansas City is just growing.
Yeah,
and people want to be here. People want to come to Arrowhead and spend a long weekend, spend their vacation time to come to Kansas City and experience Arrowhead, or see the K, or go out to Lawrence. I mean, what a fun feeling! It's not just a place that people are leaving to go on vacation to. People are coming to Kansas City to vacation. Maybe not for a full week or whatever it may be, but nice long weekends. At different venues, and it's special.
And not just in that way, but I think in also the national relevance. Like, everybody knows of Kansas City now. Obviously, everybody knew of the city, but how many people, when you and I were growing up, if you asked them, hey, what do you know about Kansas City? They would say it's in Kansas.
Yeah,
or obviously. And Warren did grow up in Kansas, so we've got both sides of the state line represented here. But there wasn't something for us to latch on after George Brett really was the last national superstar probably. And then it just continues to change now at its peak, I think, with Patrick Mahomes being back-to-back best athlete, voted on by the ESPYs, but one of the biggest names in sports. And then with Travis Kelce's ascension, with his, of course, relationship with Taylor Swift, of course, going even more global. But Warren, I think the Royals started the national relevancy with that 2014 and 2015 run. So
absolutely,
let's shift to the boys in blue. We might come back to the Chiefs, but as we look because the Royals played the San Francisco Giants in 2014, so they had the West Coast appeal. Then they beat the New York Mets in 2015. So you know that any sports fan across the globe, during that time, they're like, oh, Kansas City, they've got that baseball team that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And so that was unique because the Chiefs were up and down growing up for us, but the Royals were pretty much always bad. Okay?
Right.
And so what do you remember about going to Royals games, watching the Royals before September of 2014.
Yeah, I would say, we went to Chiefs games, but the K was a place we were at all the time in the summer. And if you think about it, it is definitely an easier ticket to get you. You've got more games. It's a little bit easier to get in and out. And tickets were cheap. They were cheap when we were growing up. And I just remember we were a part of, I don't know if any of you out there remember this, or they might even still have it, I'm not sure. But there was something called the Blue Crew at the K. And you could be a part of the Blue Crew. And you would get tickets as a kid for your family. You would get like a drawstring bag, a hat every year, a base running pass, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, get to run around the bases on Sundays.
On Sundays, yeah. And I would bring my glove to every game, trying to catch a foul ball. I mean, I grew up a baseball player also, so we spent a lot of time at the K. I loved it. I have a distinct memory of when they were not great. They had a partnership with Krispy Kreme. I don't know if you remember this, Jared.
Yes, no, the 12 hits.
12 hits.
Donut time,
if the Royals had 12 hits by the end of the game, every ticket you brought to Krispy Kreme was a dozen donuts. And I just remember us showing up with a car full of people literally having to say, no, we don't want 7 dozen. Just give us 1 or 2. But what an interesting concept.
And I continue all these years later to wonder how that was financially responsible for the Krispy Kreme organization.
I don't think it was.
But shout out Krispy Kreme. They don't do that anymore.
No.
But they did it at the right time because those Royals teams weren't getting 12 hits every day.
Right.
I think if they tried to do that in 2015, well, business wouldn't be as great. But yeah, I remember not only going to Krispy Kreme, but at the games, anytime the Royals would have 11 hits, I mean, there would be chance of "We want donuts."
Yes.
I mean,
come on, so close.
I remember distinctively Reggie Sanders. So this was like maybe 2007 or something, coming to the plate in the 9th inning. They just got their 11th hit, and there was a lot of people at the game, and the crowd was just on its feet. The Royals were down like 4 runs, but the crowd was going crazy because everybody wanted it, and then he didn't get it.
Keep it exciting.
Yeah, but that's thankfully we have better memories that followed because that's fun. I think that's why baseball's great because it doesn't matter how good the team are. You never know what you'll see when you go to the ballpark every night. On Monday, fans almost saw a cycle by Bobby Witt Jr. against the Diamondbacks. You just never know. But it's nice to have 2 years that we can look back on and say the names Eric Hosmer, Mike Moustakas, Alex Gordon, Salvador Perez, Alcides Escobar, James Shields, Giordano Ventura, Danny Duffy, Omar Infante, Wade Davis, Greg Holland, Kelvin Herrera, Gerard Dyson. All of those names are, Warren, you know every one of the names I just said. They're all fan favorites. So many people in this town do, and that was a decade ago. But that team etched their names into this city's foundation because of the love affair between the Royals and the people of Kansas City because of what those 14 and 15 seasons did. Yeah, and I earlier in the season when they honored the ALCS champions, I was at the game, and I had goosebumps the whole time. I mean, we romanticize playoff sports here because we've been so lucky lately, and we've gotten to experience so much of it. But you're right, that was our first real glimpse in my lifetime of success in the postseason for professional sports, and there's just always in my mind going to be something special about playoff baseball. What a fun time. I was telling someone earlier or a couple weeks ago, I'm like, I'm craving some October baseball. I mean, you really it was great, and so getting to see all those guys, I mean, I can't believe it's been 10 years, which blows my mind. And Salvador Perez is the only one still left. But I think with playoff baseball, it's how it's every day, right? Because with the Chiefs, man, I'm looking forward to those playoff games. I'm nervous about it. I'm stressing out. You got to wait a week. The anticipation, the build-up. But for baseball, if you win that night, guess what? They're back at it tomorrow. You get to do it again. And if they lose, guess what? They got a chance tomorrow to get right back at it. That's where when they lost Game 1 of the 2014 World Series in blowout fashion, man, I was heartbroken. But the very next day, they go and blow out the Giants. Then you have the momentum going. And did you get to go to any of the playoff games in 14-15? I did. And what's sad to me is they kind of have run together. But I got to go. Any moments, any particular plays or memories that stand out over those 2-year runs that you saw? I would say for me, one of the most vivid memories I have was the first wild card game, and just staying up super late and all the extra innings and finally just down the third baseline. I mean, that was one of my favorite Kansas City sports memories because I think that really, I mean, think about that, a wild card game.
And it
Win or go home,
so close to not getting.
And then
to
knowing what would
advance.
follow, if they lose that game, who knows what they have in 15.
Right.
So that started a real 2-year run.
Exactly. So that's a huge thing for me to remember. Loved it, and didn't get to go to as many playoff games. Obviously, that's a tough ticket as well.
Yeah, no, that's
stadium's not super huge, but just I was a freshman in college when they won in 15. And everyone just sprinting to Mass Street in Lawrence was such a core memory that I have too, which was so fun. Equally, almost as exciting as if it would have been KU. You got a lot of Kansas City kids around.
Right.
So, it's just fantastic times and memories. And the guys on the team were so wholesome.
and the reason I think there's that unity, even at KU, for the KU fan or the Kansas City natives, that was for our generation, for Warren and I, the very first playoff victory, that wild card game against the A's, the first playoff win that we saw with our two eyes from either the Royals or the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Royals hadn't even made the playoffs in our lifetime, and the Chiefs had made the playoffs but lost every time. And so that's what the feeling that I always tell people is that I didn't know how to feel, Warren.
Yeah.
When that ball went down the left field line, I was just like, it was such a weird feeling. Like, I was just overcome with confusion. Like, wait, did that just happen? Yeah, exactly. I had the feeling if it doesn't matter what happens next, we will always have that moment. Little did we know that run that would propel a run all the way to Game 7 of the World Series, World Championship in 2015, and of course the Chiefs dynasty that would follow. But for me, it always starts there, September 30th, 2014. And Warren, it's not crazy to think that we could have that once again.
I know.
In September and October this year. Now, the
Right.
Royals still got some work to do,
Sure.
but that 2014 team was 48-50 in July.
Okay.
All right, so that year's team was in a worse spot than the Royals are now, and they went all the way to the Game 7 that year.
Yeah.
How excited are you for what could come? I know you go out to the K a lot. It feels like the Royals saved their best games for when you're at the K.
As they should, Jared, as they should.
Yeah, so how are you feeling looking forward?
Yeah, so what to me is fun is, we're chasing the Red Sox, and we've got some contenders that we're, keeping tabs on their season, and that makes baseball even more exciting, right? Because you have games every single day, so it maybe isn't the most exciting season. It's so drawn out, but just the chase and the excitement of even this being a potential. There's a lot of baseball left. I mean, come on, right? I mean, it is
60
fun.
games.
60 games. Yeah. But just to have at least something to be chasing or something to be watching for each and every single day. You got your half game back or whatever it may be. I just remember my dad's such a big Royals fan, and I don't get to watch all the games. They have the games that they get to see, so he'll be texting me during the games, or I'll talk to him all the time. They're watching, and so it would be so special to at least have an opportunity to go again.
Sure.
At least a wild card, and the city. Who knows what the Chiefs are going to be like
Well,
at the
that's
time?
something
And
we've
on.
never experienced both the Chiefs and Royals
Right.
being amazing at the same time. So that would be new ground. Ending on this with the Royals, because literally Warren has been to some great games. Do you have a favorite memory from the K this year? Because I know you've been to a few. I'm putting him on the spot.
You are
here.
putting me on the spot.
None of this was prepped.
And numbers wise, I can't really remember. But I was at a game, and I'm literally losing who it was against. But they were down. Oh, what was that? Maybe 9 or 10 runs.
Oh, early in the Mariners were they
Yes,
down,
it was the Mariners.
I think 8-1 or 7-0 in the first.
Yeah,
on
and
a Friday night.
so everyone was okay, and fireworks. So the crowd wants to still stick around, and the crowd's always good about staying around in a game, and because they have had so many come from behind wins this year, or at least
that was one of the
contenders.
biggest.
That was one of the biggest.
Yeah,
but that alone, I mean, so exciting. You've got just the bats got hot, and that's always fun for me. I mean, pitching games are amazing, so intricate, but when the bats are hot and the boys are playing some ball, and it's
company
fun.
Man, boys are playing some ball. I love it. All right, and we will end. Not end, but the next era that is of intrigue because Warren grew up a KU fan, and then went to KU. I grew up a KU fan, then betrayed my whole family and went to Mizzou. And now I genuinely root for both Kansas and Missouri and am genuinely not accepted by either fan base because of that. Warren, as a 100% Kansas Jayhawk guy, what do you make of what you've seen out of the Jayhawk basketball program over your lifetime.
Yeah, so I will say, obviously, as a kid, KU, I mean, I'm 27 years old, so KU has, my entire life has been very competitive in basketball, and that's special. I mean, how many teams can say that? And no matter what team you are for, or you know, what sport you love, I mean, you have to respect that. And what you know, Coach Self has been around for most of that time, and at least what I could remember, and it is incredible. He's just to see what that program has done, and the excitement. This goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Kids are excited to come to Kansas to go to school and you know, become, you know, young men or young ladies or whatever it may be, to participate in the programs here. And it's a beautiful campus, and I loved going to games my whole life, and I think that's the basketball culture and Mass Street and all that. It was a big part of me growing up. Neither of my parents are from here, both from Texas, and so I think that was a big reason why I loved the college town and just wanted to be a part of it. And they've got an atmospheric science program, so I decided to go that route and be a meteorologist. And but it's a special place, you know. Allen Fieldhouse is, I think everyone should go. It's a bucket list. That's been fun. It's been consistent. You know, it's something that the tradition is just, it gives me goosebumps every time I'm in there. But also, you know, now you've got a sport that was so horrible, and I know we'll talk about football here in a minute, but I mean, talk about bad. Jared, I was at KU when they would have 1 or 2 win seasons. So that alone too, just to have competitive football again, I'm like, yes, can't wait.
What a roller coaster, because I mean, I'm sure you remember fondly the Todd Reesing, Kerry Meyer years, and when Mark Mangino, when they were on the top, just to have that quick peak come crashing so far down to where they're the worst program in college football, arguably, I guess, in those ranks, and then now to have a legitimate chance at being a, you know, preseason top 25 team, and their schedule, I think, lends itself to contend for the college football playoff. Warren, things are good at KU right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, there's a lot of attention and new facilities. And, you know, that doesn't need to be a big focus on, you know, how nice the place you play in. But, it needed to happen. It needed to happen. I spent a lot of cold games out at the old booth, and it was old. It was old. I used to give campus tours when I was at KU, and it was the oldest stadium west of the Mississippi. It was one of the things I would, you know, spew on the campus tours. And so, yeah. It's
spewing to the minds of future Jayhawks.
I had to have a lot of facts and dad jokes on my campus tours, but yeah, I've seen some amazing sports at KU, and then also the negative as well. But it's fun to have competitive, even other sports too. A lot of respect.
Sure, women's basketball team's done well. The volleyball team's done well.
Volleyball and
baseball and softball been up and down, but have their moments too.
Yeah.
So Warren, with the background of the Chiefs, Royals, and Jayhawks for your fandom, who do you look back on over your life as some of your fan favorites, or any particular memories over these 3 teams that now you can look back and say, yeah, that was my guy, that was my moment. You know, who stands the test of time for adult Warren Sears?
Sure. I'm trying to think back before the guys that won the World Series. There was definitely a few.
Really? Okay.
But I would say kind of peak, you know, when you start idolizing athletes and all that. Eric Hosmer was really big for me. Okay. I was a first baseman growing up, and, you know, Little League and all that. So any big first baseman, and then I hate to cheat on the Royals, Albert Pujols was a big, you know, I was a big fan of him just as a player.
Well, I mean, he spent some time at Maple Woods. He went to Fort Osage.
Right, and so really liked him a lot. He was one of the younger. Any big from KU, Cole Aldrich, Sasha Khan, loved those guys. You know, I'm not a small person, Jared. I don't know if you can't tell. I know I look so small sitting in this chair, but you know, big guy, always played, you know, the offensive line or big sports, you know, the center in basketball, whatever. So some of the bigs, basketball bigs at KU were big for me. And then, some of the first basemen for sure. And I hate to say this because it's cliche, but I'm such a Kelsey fan. I mean, any tight end, like respectable tight end, Tony G, you know, those are fun positions for me to watch. So that's probably just off the top of my head.
I think that's a good core. I think you covered a few different bases, and it's I think also cool for KU when you can see someone that you know where they come from.
Mm-hmm.
And the most recent Kansas National Championship basketball team had Ochai Agbaji from Oak Park and Christian Brown from Blue Valley Northwest. How cool is it for you to see a guy like Christian Brown showing out for KU recently and now in the NBA with the Denver Nuggets?
Yeah, so CB, I'm trying to remember back. I think we overlapped 1 year, but just watching him, you know, his touch on the ball it's incredible. I mean, he's so athletic. You know, maybe didn't have the most points per game, you know, across the board or whatever, but his quality his touches were good. His assists, I mean, it was all impressive to watch him. So that was really fun. He had a lot of success in high school, obviously, then won a national championship at KU. I'd like to say that CB knows who I am. I don't think he really does, but I had a flight home with CB once from New York, and he was at the draft with some of his teammates, and we were waiting for the gate, and you know, I just kind of had a feeling like maybe I got on the plane and he was in the first row and looked up and he was like looking at me. I'm like, "What's up, CB?" He's like, "What's up, man?"
Okay,
he doesn't know who I am, but I'd like to think that maybe he does.
You heard it here first, folks. Warren Sears best friends with Christian Brown.
I mean, I'm sure he watches Kansas City weather. Is probably why he knows who I am.
Loyal weekend viewer of KCTV5.
Exactly.
You know?
But
mainly he stays up late for KC Sports Night, and then every now and then he catches Warren. At the end.
But I did actually. I was in Denver. I got to see my first NBA game this past spring. My buddy lives in Denver. We went to a Nuggets game, and actually got to see him after his family was in town, and we went to a KU bar to watch the bad KU. Let's see, I think it was the big. It was the round they lost.
Oh, to Gonzaga.
And to Gonzaga, yeah. And so, but he was there as well, and it's fun to watch him. Now I have a team that I'm not a big NBA guy just because we didn't really grow up with a team here.
Right, but that's why, I mean, folks, if you're looking to get into the NBA, if you're a KU fan, Christian Brown, if you're a Mizzou fan, Michael Porter Jr. is, I mean, you can tell by his $200 million contract, he's really good. Even though he only played a couple games at Mizzou, but he's from Columbia. And then if you're neither a fan of those, I guess if you're K-State, the tie-in, I would say, hey, Christian Brown is from the Kansas City area, so that's a fun person to get behind. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's somewhat close by, and they got a good team. So, there's the sales pitch for the Denver Nuggets. I like it. So, Warren, I'll end you with this. What are you looking forward to here in Kansas City? Can even go beyond sports, but, we've spent most of our lives here in the Kansas City metro area, and I guess, going as far as Wichita for you, Lincoln for me / Columbia. What are you looking forward to? What's to come here in the city of fountains?
Yeah, this was a big, and we've talked about this before. I mean, this is a huge get. I've always wanted to be a meteorologist in Kansas City, and it was a huge thing for me, a big goal of mine. So you kind of have to hop around in this business until the right fit comes in. So I think just the excitement of me being back. Kansas City is so cool now. I mean, it's always had charm, but man, in the last 10 years, I've seen the city alone with sports and restaurants and cool places to go.
Downtown, River Market,
absolutely.
Stadiums.
So it's on the map, I think, a little bit more now. And as I mentioned, it's fun to have interests. I have friends that aren't from here or maybe never really spent time here that want to come and see Kansas City. Like getting to be the tour guide and show people around is super fun. So I hope that
you've got it in your bones if you're touring the hills of
just
Kansas.
A big tour guide
to
here.
be a tour guide to walk. If you haven't been to KU's campus, the hills are no joke.
It's hilly. I used to make a bad joke about calf size, whatever, because call them KU calves. But so that alone, the city is just there's a lot of excitement. But I hope that we can just keep respectable. What's the Royals record right now? How many games over 500?
They're 10 games over.
10. Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, look at that. You got 10 games over 500, and you've the whole city that's just thrilled. So just
a good time.
Just want to keep good, respectable.
I think
teams
it's the
out
best
there.
time. Well, in a well-rounded sense, the Chiefs are in a dynasty. The Royals are good. KU, MU, K-State, college football are great. It's going to be exciting at least next 8 months or so.
Yeah, and what a feeling! We have kind of a target now, Jared. I mean, when we were growing up, I feel like the Pats had a big target.
As I said, when we were growing up, nobody cared about Kansas City. Now everybody hates Kansas City.
It's the villain, but it's kind of fun to play that.
Either way, we will take it. More and I will be here with you every step of the ride, every step of the way on the weekends, covering your weather and your sports. So, Warren, thanks for hanging out. We end with the James Shields salute, and we will see you same time, same place tomorrow.